Well, I came from Whitefish Bay, which is a suburb of Milwaukee, and Miami was one of those schools that students at our high school just looked at. We knew that it was a good school. We looked at DePauw, Denison, and everyone seemed to go to Miami too. There were actually 10 people from my high school and 4 people from my graduating class. So that's really why I chose Miami, because it was also very affordable at the time. I tell people it was $1,600 a year, room, board, and out-of-state tuition. And everyone kind of goes, oh my goodness.
One thing when I came to Miami, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I guess I was a classic student and started off in arts and science like many folks do, and kind of like, oh, I'm going to take, kind of like government courses, kind of like history courses, and finally about halfway through that sophomore year, I said, okay, what's it going to be? And I really thought, I think eventually I want to go on to law school, and so kind of the combination of government classes, history classes. I also saw it would be important to also have a business background, so I kind of gravitated to the School of Business. And they had a kind of a neat major back then. It was called the General Business Major, where you didn't have as many required courses, which also enabled me then to take courses in government and history, which were kind of what I really liked to also take. So they kind of customized it for me, and it kind of fit perfect for me to head off to law school, and that's what I ended up being.
The area of study I chose at Miami really came from looking through that book during summer registration. My mother wanted me to get a career so that I would graduate with a bachelor's degree in something that was a career. So my science background, my interest in science, we chose med tech, but I ended up getting registered by a professor, Robert Hayes, and he was a zoo professor, so I became a zoo major.
Well, I think probably the person that had the biggest impact on me, kind of like why I came to Miami, was a next door neighbor of mine, a name that many people might recognize. His name was Scott Nisley, and Scott was a great Miami graduate and eventually became chairman of the board of trustees down here. But Scott was my neighbor, and he and I were close friends. He was not that much older than me, probably 15 years older than me, 20 years older, and we did a lot of things together, sports-wise and whatever. And he said, you know, you need to go down and look at Miami when you're thinking about college. And Scott drove me down here one Sunday afternoon with my dad, and we took a walk around Oxford, the Miami campus here, and was like, that's where I want to go to school. So yeah, Scott was a big influence on me there.
I mainly focused on science-related things. I would stay sometimes for summer school, so I got more opportunity to be on this beautiful campus and take some courses in a more relaxed and beautiful weather environment, I guess. And I worked in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, as a nurse's aide because that was a hospital-based, and then in a research lab at Marquette University in Milwaukee.
Well, I'm currently, I'm retired, which is the best thing in life, and Miami really prepared me to be retired by giving me a great career, which really gave me the opportunity to have a good retirement. I guess the background of Miami and the diversity here, from the standpoint of different classes, different courses, kind of always kept me a broad view of how I viewed things. When I got ready to retire, I again still had that same broad view about what I kind of wanted to do in retirement, and one of those issues that I kind of just discovered over the last 15 years was this acute interest in the environment and what's going on our planet, and that background from Miami, that openness to new things, kind of really opened up this avenue. And now my real passion in life is telling people about the environment and trying to do things that will help save the environment and save the planet, and hopefully my grandkids and kids will have the same opportunities that I was fortunate to have.
When students first come to Miami, they just need to explore what is here, whether different colleges, if they thought they wanted to be in arts and science, but they find that they like working with children, they may change to education. There's just a lot of diversity and very, very good programs here at Miami. So be open-minded, look at the different colleges, the opportunities that are here, and you can easily change your major, and certainly look at the counseling programs they have in each school, because I think the counseling programs, such as the pre-law program and the pre-med program, have really blossomed in the last 10 to 15 years, 10 to 20 years, and it's such a good basis for the students to look at their careers.
In a couple of years, I'm kind of trying to look out into the future, maybe what I envision where I might be, and I hope I'm kind of in the same place, but hopefully a little bit smarter, a little bit, hopefully I've been able to kind of spread my interest in the environment to a broader number of people. Hopefully I can look back and say, you know, you've made a difference. I think in life, I think you're always looking for that opportunity to make a difference, and hopefully like it's kind of like when you join an organization, you always kind of want to leave an organization better than when you joined it. And it's kind of like the planet here. Hopefully, when I'm no longer around, the planet's a better place than when I started off. So hopefully, kind of look back and say, hey, my grandkids and kids, Grandpa did right by them.
The most satisfying aspects of being a pediatrician is working with not only the patients but the families too. It can be making that good diagnosis, that we call it a zebra, meaning some difficult diagnosis, or it could be just developing rapport with those patients and families. I like to be a teacher too, so it's teaching them good health habits or teaching them about the disease they may have. But it really boils down to the rapport and the camaraderie that you get as a physician.
I'd love to tell the story about how JoAnn and I met, and since we are a Miami merger, everybody assumes one thing, that we met at Miami. And oddly enough, we didn't meet at Miami, but we met because of Miami. I always jokingly tell people, I said, well, she knew who I was, but I didn't know who she was, but I don't get by with that too well anymore. But it was really some common mutual friends who lived in Cincinnati, and went down to see them, and one of them happened to know her, and I met her one night, and just so happened the next week she was coming to Columbus and for a wedding rehearsal, and so I said, well, why don't we go out? And we had this very long romance. I think it lasted maybe 7 weeks, and we were engaged. So yeah, we had a great romance, and we've had a great life together here. So, and Miami is really the connective tissue here.
So my medical background really helped me go to medical school. As I worked as a medical technologist, I saw all the students I helped through Miami, or I say that I helped through Miami, that borrowed my notes and things. And so 7 years after I graduated from Miami, I went to medical school. And so it was really the foundations of the courses at Miami and the good experiences that I had that led me to do what I did.